Go ahead.
It does not in any way jeopardize or question our accreditation. Our accreditations are solid. We kept those issues firmly in front of us all the way through our preparation for this process. What it is the declaration of an enrollment emergency, which is in our policy structure, that basically says that any sudden or long-term continual drop in enrollment that cannot be addressed budgetarily by ordinary means, one would declare an enrollment emergency and engage in a systematic reduction of force in order to maintain proper solvency. We're a research institution, we're a graduate institution. We have federal grants and contracts which are on a reimbursement basis, so we have to maintain a certain kind of cash position. We've got bonds and obligations that we have to meet, and they require us to maintain a certain kind of financial stature. And that's exactly what we're doing. Now, the difficulty is that, quite frankly, the economy, as everyone knows, has tanked way below any expectation. We made a normal budget adjustment in October, which led to we froze hiring. We weren't going to fill unfilled positions. We cut some of the operating budgets, etc. But as we continue to watch our situation, which we do constantly, particularly our stocks and that sort of thing, there's a period of time in October, November when I was really in consultation almost weekly with our board finance and audit committee at my request, because we got some brilliant people on that committee who know this stuff, and I wanted to make sure that we were doing the right things by the institution. We ended up where everybody else ended up, which is there's no place to move this stuff. You got to rebalance periodically. You got to watch it very carefully. There's nothing to convert to, even if you look at the Treasury side, because of their last moves. What reads as 4% right now will flatten before the end of this month.
How much of a hit did CAU endowment take last year when the market just really...
We lost, as did most institutions, 25 to 30%. And that, unfortunately, is about average. The range, if you look at Chronicle of Higher Education reports, has been between 20% and 40%, with some registering as high as a 50% loss. And of course, the loss depends on the configuration of your holdings. But there's no way not to lose. And you don't get out, because to get out is to permanently book the loss. So if you can't get out because there's nowhere to go and you don't want to book this loss, you got to grit your teeth and ride. And that's what we keep ending up with. We have these 2-hour meetings and everything is on the table. We're reviewing documents and looking at those who manage our money, and of course we continue to jack them up. We don't want them to be comfortable at all. But even down to questions like, is anybody managing any of our money that are probably more concerned about themselves right now? When we see that, that's a time to make some moves. But we are where we are because everything is where it is.
The enrollment, what sort of decrease in enrollment have we seen since, say, about 2001 to now?
Well, basically from a little over 5,000 down to our current enrollment of about 3,900. And quite frankly, we had not done all of the staffing and faculty adjustments we should have been doing over that time period.
Okay, so you're saying as the enrollment dropped, you should have been adjusting staff and faculty
constantly.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that one of the points we're driving home is that what we're doing today is a step in a process. It is not the process. Next steps are we have to do some administrative reorganization to streamline, to create more efficiencies, and to save more money. And that's ongoing now. Some of that is more difficult than others. For example, you don't willy-nilly toss personnel out of your technology shop. You got to know more before you do that, or you harm yourself. You have to maintain certain separations of duties in your financial operations. So you have to very carefully go about that, because every person you remove, you've got to look at how the flow of the work goes so you don't end up with improper non-separation of duties. Because we like nice audits. Okay, so we're going to do that kind of work. The next thing we're going to do is begin to put the formulas and structures together that allocates faculty time on the basis of what is needed in the unit. Okay, so for example, a good formula would say that when the enrollment in a unit or the demand for instruction in a unit rises past a certain point, they are in a position to request additional positions. Doesn't mean we're going to get it, but they're in a position to request. And what we're saying to others is until you get here, you can't even make that request. Just as certainly on the underside of it, when a unit's enrollment or need drops past a certain point, we need to remove a position. That makes everybody accountable for the use of the institution's resources, and also creates a new paradigm, which is deep faculty and staff interest in recruitment and retention. The more students you got, the more stable your position is. The fewer you got, the less stable your position is. And make that everybody's business. So we have to begin to do those kinds of things and lock those processes in. The institution has been at difficult points before. It has engineered financial recoveries before. It has not done the next part of this work that I'm outlining now. And we're absolutely going to do it.
The current 100 people who are